Hi, welcome back to Crispy Life. I'm P.
And I'm Chris.
And together we are
Crispy Life.
Today we want to talk to you about China. We backpacked across China for 5 weeks. China had us inspired from the get-go. The amount of diverse scenery, all the sites that we'd read about, it had us fascinated.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to go and see like the Terracotta Warriors or the Great Wall of China, for instance.
Or even Pandora from Avatar in real life. In this video we want to tell you all about all the places that we've visited. However, we're also doing a video on culture difference because where we live is so different to China and we experience so many culture shocks and we want to share what they were with you.
Yeah. So the first place we went was called Yangshuo. Now that place is so beautiful. We looked at pictures before we went, but the pictures don't do it justice. When you're there, it's like the mountain casts that go for miles and miles, and it's just really mystical when you're looking at it.
It was so beautiful. We hired bikes to explore Yangshuo because Yangshuo itself is very, very touristy. Cycling along these limestone casts was just so mesmerising, and they were just dotted around all over the place. We went to a few sites. We went to a cave called Butterfly Cave. Now that had a paved cave system throughout the whole limestone cast and was able to walk in it.
One of them had a toboggan so you could actually slide down the side of the mountain, and so you had to don on these funny little pants and some gloves that we use as brakes and just slid down it, and that was fun. I enjoyed that.
The main river in Yangshuo was called the Li River. That was really nice, wasn't it?
And the thing is, when you're in like Yangshuo and you go in away from the busy areas and you're going through like rural town areas. When you think of rural China, you see like the bamboo pointed hats, the old guy with the walking stick and the hunchback, and we've seen that and it was just like, this is China, we're in China. It was like, that was the moment that kind of really dawned on us where we was actually in China.
Then after Yangshuo we went to Xingping.
Again, it's a beautiful place. It's got like mountains and viewpoints that you can go to, and it's a lot quieter town as well.
Yeah, it's more quaint. When we was there, we climbed...
It's called Laozai Hill, 1,159 steps, I believe, to get to the top for the viewpoint.
In China, there's steps everywhere. So you could climb these steps, and it took us about 40 minutes to get to the top. Sweating, panting by the time we're at the top, but the views were amazing.
Yeah, it was worth it. It was worth like going up all of those steps just to see the sunset, the mountains in the distance like covered in clouds, and just the town below us as well with the river going round it. It's like a postcard picture.
It was. What intrigues me is they took so much time and effort to build the steps going up this mountain, and then when you get to the top, you literally just sat perched on rocks at the edge of the mountain.
You have to judge whether it's safe to step there on your own. While I was there, we also seen one iconic kind of scenic setting, and it's actually on the 20 yuan note.
You can hold it up and the scenery, the backdrop is exactly mirroring what you see on the £20 note. So after Xingping we went to another place, Zhangjiajie. Zhangjiajie had us excited from the very, very beginning. It inspired James Cameron to create Pandora in Avatar, and if you've ever seen Avatar, it's mind-blowing and you think, I wonder if a place like that even exists, and it does. It does, it exists in China.
It's like these shards of rock just coming out of the ground, and there's loads of them, and on the perfect day it's just like Pandora in Avatar, you know, with the low-lying clouds and things like that.
You couldn't necessarily see the top of them because like there were so many clouds swirling around all of these rock formations. But for me, that made it even more magical and mystical. Within the national park then, you've got lots of areas where you can climb some of the mountain casts. When I say climb, in China mainly it is lots of steps.
Yeah.
So like 2,000 steps up this mountain to see the top of this viewpoint.
And some of our favourite points would be the one dangerous step, and that's where you walk across like a bridge.
It's a bridge at the top of two casts.
It's just a small kind of crisscross metal kind of bridge, and you can look down and see the drop below you.
When you step on it and you literally see the drop, it's terrifying. I also liked the Lock and Key mountain.
Yeah, they had lots of like padlocks.
And the grand sightseeing platform, we took so many pictures there. So we stayed in the park. You can actually stay in the park. We stayed in the park for one night.
So next on we've got Xi'an. Now Xi'an's one of the places that I really wanted to go to, just solely because of the Terracotta Warriors.
So it has 8,000 life-size terracotta warriors, each with their own distinguishable feature. So he built this massive army to protect him in his tomb.
You're either a megalomaniac that you think, when I go into the afterlife and I die, I'm taking this army with me because I want to take over the afterlife. I don't know what he was thinking.
It was just hidden and forgotten about for all of those years. The site's sort of separated into 3 pits, and you've got lots of uncovered artifacts. You've got the soldiers, and the soldiers are positioned according to the rank. They had different weapons.
Yeah, from arrows to actual metal swords. There was even horse as well.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Like when you're looking at it, and then you see the archaeologists working away.
That was inspiring.
It's like putting together a 3D jigsaw of like a gazillion pieces.
Apart from the Terracotta Warriors, we explored the city walls.
City walls, which it goes around like 13 square kilometres around the whole city, and we hired a bike to ride around there, which was nice because you get to see like a nice view of the city from a different perspective.
Right, okay, so next we went to Dunhuang.
Yeah.
Now, Dunhuang is famed for its amazing sand dunes that just stretch on for miles and miles, and some of them are just huge mountains of sand dunes. It was just spectacular. While I was there, we climbed the sand dunes. Climbing it is intense. The sand is scorching hot. It's quite a steep uphill climb, climbing the ridges, and you got to think about it. Your feet are like sinking into the sand every time you step up the sand, so you feel like you go up, you go down, you go up, you go down.
So at one point there was just one guy just lay straight in the middle of like the main kind of walkway, just having a kip.
Yeah.
So he got his hat on his face and he's just lying there.
It was a tourist site, so you had lots of people who were on camels. We opted to do it all on foot. The fun part for us was actually going down the sand dunes.
Yeah.
You literally have to either slide down or run down.
Yeah.
So we opted to run down.
Yes, and that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And the thing is, even if you tumble, you're going to be alright. And then by the time you get to the bottom, your whole shoes are just filled with sand.
And your hair. Everything.
Yeah, sand gets everywhere.
It did. While I was in Dunhuang, we went to the Pingyao caves, built in the 4th century. It was a monk who had dreamt about 1,000 Buddhas, and then one day decided to start carving out a cave and started this creation of 600 caves in total. So after Dunhuang, we went to Xiahe. Xiahe proved to be one of our most favourite places in China. Like, it's often described as Little Tibet. It was certainly off the beaten track. We'd not met one traveller who had been to this place before.
So I had the main monastery, and one of the monasteries was where the Dalai Lama had originated from. So it's a pretty special place.
So you had the monasteries, and you also had like lots of little temples, and nestled within them you've got like small quarters where the monks live. It was just a really atmospheric place because you had monks who almost glided the streets. They wore the red garment that just flowed as they walked, and then you had the traditional ethnic nomads.
They walked around with like the prayer beads as they sort of like counted them as they went round, like just muttering their prayers, and then a lot of them around the outside of the whole kind of Xiahe village, is what they call a Kora, where the pilgrims will walk around it, and they've got these prayer wheels, and as they walk past they just turn them on, and it's kind of a ritual that they do. And
they walked miles and miles to get here, and this is like a huge religious site for them.
And the women would have like long black hair in like 2 plaits.
A lot of the women had babies that they carried around.
Yeah, so they had the rosy red cheeks, which is from being at 3,000 feet exposed to sunlight, and also the cold harsh winters that they go through as well.
A lot of them had darker skin, darker than the Han Chinese, but like obviously not as dark as us.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that also fascinated them. Like you often saw the nudge,
kind of look behind.
But the monks are more reserved, so they would generally try and avoid you. Some of them were quite friendly and smiled at you. I remember one even wanted to take a picture with you, which was unusual. But most of them avoided us. One thing that I really remember, I saw this monk and he turned the other way. He kept on like looking behind the wall. We suspected that he didn't think that we could see him. It was just so funny. It was like a game of like peekaboo, and we caught it on camera, which was really good. And one interesting story that we'd heard
is what they call a sky burial, and this is where they'll chop the deceased body up into little bits, put them on top of a mountain, and let the eagles just pretty much just eat them and take them away, because they see it as long as it's being consumed by the eagle, the closer to the gods, or to the heavens. Sorry.
As the eagles fly up in the sky.
Okay, so that was the end of part 1.
I hope you've enjoyed part 1 of our experience in China.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll be talking about Pingyao, Beijing, Lijiang and Tiger Leaping Gorge.
There's so much more that we want to tell you.
Yeah, and we post Monday and Fridays. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell button so you get the notifications, and we'll see you next time on Crispy Life. 再见!
And that's bye in Chinese. See you later.